All right, we're gonna move into the awards, and we're gonna start with years of service. Marcia, you and RB want to come? 5 years of service is Morris Atkinson. Morris is our SRO and our #1 Clemson fan. If you can't tell he's for the Orange Tigers, you blind. You got to go see the doctor. But come over here and make me and RB look small. And we do appreciate what Morris does for us at school, and we get a lot of information from Morris at school too. With 10 years, I think Banks is out. I hope he's still working his little murder case we got. And Lieutenant Tracy Hampson, 10 years service. Tracy's tired of me telling this story, but you know, she come talk to me about being a police officer. And I said, why do you want to be a police? She said, well, it's something I've always wanted to do. And said, I've done everything that everybody else wants me to do. I want to do what I want to do. And I'm going to tell you, Lieutenant Hampson is she's a great asset for not only the department, but our city. And I love it. I love you too, Mark. That was that Sergeant Major again that caught that. It wasn't the police chief. 20 years. Now, Killicott has kind of floated off to. We got two?
Yeah, we got it.
Well, come on, Mike, you too. Mike and I went to school together, the police academy together, and he taught me a valuable lesson one day. You didn't take live rounds on the quarterdeck. And I'll let him finish that story. Quarterdeck, for you guys, used to be a Marine Corps. You know what it is, and you explain it to you, but it's about that. There you go. But anyway, we had these fine folks that we love. One of them was Hollingsworth. I saw her the other day. She asked me if I knew where my PT pants were and if you still took loaded weapons where you were supposed to. No way, we learned, you taught us well. Mike's been with us a long time, and we certainly appreciate it, Mike. You want to say something? If you've been here 20 years, you get to say something. Tell them where we were 20 years ago and where we are now.
Oh, goodness. We buy a lot of our stuff, and a lot of the better stuff we never even thought we would ever get. But we are much more advanced, much more educated, much more community oriented than we were when I showed up here. You showed up here.
We had a good time, man. Thank you, Mike. He and I worked in the academy. Some sheriff called and said it was good, and I thought we was going to get a candy bar or something. We didn't get anything. All right. Now, Steve moved over into the Taj Mahal. He's moved over there, you know, we used to call it way up the flagpole. The closer you get to the flagpole, you know, the rougher things can be sometimes. It just doesn't appear that way to the soldiers. But Steve has been a big part of the police department, has been a friend of the police department all these years, and he still carries the title as a marshal. And I just want to recognize Steve for his 20 years of service to the city of Monroe, better known as Killicott. You got anything to say?
Well, I'll just say when Tracy came up to get her award, and it was for 10 years, I remember going to the police academy with her, and I was instructing firearms at that time, and I felt pretty old when that happened. Now you give me this, and I'm kind of wondering if they've got a room downstairs for me yet.
They do. I talked to Melinda about one today. She said we got you a place to stay.
It's been a wonderful ride, and we've seen a lot of changes come and go here, and I think a lot of them are for the better. And I hope to see a lot more before I leave. So,
Miss Eva. Eva, come on up here, Miss Eva. Bring your partner with you. I'm gonna let Miss Eva talk about DUIs right now. She's got some stuff for our officers that wrote or done the most DUI cases this year. And Miss Eva, the floor is yours.
Thanks, Chief. I'm Eva Smith, and I'm the chapter leader for
You
MAD.
don't talk as loud as I do.
have
Come
been.
on here. There you go. There
Well
you
over 21 years. It's soon be 23 years I lost my husband and almost lost my son. I love our officers. I love you, Chief Glass.
I love you, Miss Eva.
When I moved to Monroe, my son was still in a hospital bed to start with. My sister stayed with him. I worked 2 full-time jobs. Chief Glass was a patrolman. I think he was a patrolman then.
That was a long time ago.
That's a long time. We didn't have cell phones, we had pagers. I worked armed security for 2 different companies. I'd leave Southern Bell and change out of one uniform into the other one. But Chief Glass would text me, page me. And I will never forget Chief Glass, it was code 4. It was the number 4. Let me know my baby was all right. Robbie Vaughn knows what I've been through. She's taught 2 of my kids. I just have to stay strong for all the people like y'all that I love. Like Melanie. I got a lot of kids at the Boys and Girls Club. I love them. And I love all of you. I want to thank every one of y'all for what you've done for me. You'll never know. I have some plaques. I'm Chief Glass.
Yeah.
This is for all of the officers for the city of Monroe, for your dedication and your hard work keeping our roads safe, one life at a time. That one life made a change in my life. I want to give you this, Chief Glass.
Thank you.
Know that we love all of you and we appreciate you.
Thank you so very much. Thank you.
This is hard. Every time I do it, it gets harder and harder. Officer Patrick McCullough. I want to tell you, I appreciate everything you do.
You're welcome.
Just help keep the roads safe.
Yes, ma'am.
I don't want no mama or daddy to get the phone call that I got, because I've been mama and daddy ever since.
I made a mistake. When I looked at his plaque, I had been reading up on this core math. You know, a lot of people have trouble with the new Common Core math. And I thought you were supposed to get a number out of the 2 numbers on there. So I took 8 and took 5 from it and got the 3 that we was talking about a while ago. But it's actually, McCullough wrote 58 DUIs and made 58 DUI cases last year, so congratulations. Thank you. You want to say something like, don't drink and drive?
Yeah, don't drink and drive, Neil.
I know, never mind. This is a serious thing, I promise you. It's nothing to laugh or joke about. It's not, it's just not. Nina Lee with 25 DUIs. That could be 25 lives to save. That could be 25 lives that you saved.
Thank you so much.
And I appreciate you.
There you go.
This is my assistant. I have 9 counties. I had to have some help. This is Brenda Sneed, and she's my assistant. When I can't go, she goes. And when I go, most of the time, she goes.
We're Bonnie and Clyde, okay?
I had to call them.
Officer Donna McGilvery. Stuff together. Yes, we do. Thank you very much.
I got my hands full.
Donna, Eva does a program, is it once a quarter or once a month?
Yes, once a month. Last Saturday.
Once a month, and
now.
Donna's done a lot of work with her on that, and probably some of the other officers too. But
You're
Donna is our crime scene person, and she tries to take care of all the property that we have. And I remember when we moved from old City Hall to over there, I said, we got more space over here in the evidence room than we'll ever use, and that, so, you know, I need to dig on back up under the street. So, but we appreciate you.
Thank you, Donna.
Thank you, Ms. Donna. Corporal Brandon Temples.
Brandon outgrew all his uniforms, so we had to come in. He's got a little different mission now, and so but we appreciate Brandon.
Thank you, baby.
Brandon's always been pretty hard on DUIs himself, so he's done a good job.
Sure has.
We
Thank you very much.
appreciate you, Brandon.
Sergeant John Mura. Thank you. Mura has done security for me too, and one time I had to call him in because we had a drunk wanted to sit down in the courtroom, Judge Brownlow, but we got him, lit a cigarette, trying to light it. He couldn't find the light.
About falling out of his chair.
Yeah, but he tried, but he didn't succeed.
He was just nervous, that's all.
But I appreciate you getting him out, taking care of us.
Thank you, John.
I'm gonna let Brenda call some.
Sergeant Kevin.
All right, he knows,
Sorry. I can spell it, but I cannot say it. I've tried. Bradley can say it.
I think I asked him every time I see him, how you say your name? How you say your name?
Copper top, sir.
Copper Top, that's right, Copper Top.
Sergeant Officer Sam Harrison. He's not here.
Training.
Officer Brian Matthews.
Make sure that ain't two together.
Thank you. You can come on up here, I ain't gonna bite you. There's probably not one in this room I hadn't hugged. And I ain't bit them yet.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This first time.
Am I right, Melanie?
Sergeant Amanda Lawson.
I couldn't help but look at you. I had to look at you. Thank you.
Officer Jason Smith.
I just figured out why Jason walked over and sat by Killer. Jason is also very talented in the world of electrons and
Moron.
He's figured out that 90% of the time you can fix a computer by turning it off and turning it on.
Pour it out.
Thank you.
Thank you, baby. We love y'all.
Lieutenant Tracy Hanson. Lieutenant Jonathan Pilgrim.
Thank you, baby. That's all you do.
Officer Brent Davis.
He's here. There he is. Sorry for forgetting. Thank you, baby. Then why didn't the rest of them do that, huh? Thank you.
And last but certainly not least, Officer Ben Goga.
Go. Sure gonna miss you tomorrow night.
Oh, you'll be all right.
Thank you. That's it for us, and I appreciate everybody, and I thank you for everything. Just continue to think about our life. Everybody just be careful going home. You know the roads are bad. Goga, y'all saw Bradley come in, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So he's out on one of your roads somewhere.
We'll stop him.
I had one of mine in jail twice. It don't make me mad. He needs to be in there. Don't call Mom.
Thank you.
We certainly appreciate MAD and the influence that they've had really nationwide, beginning back probably in the late 70s, early 80s, had a major impact in highway safety. Now we're going to get into other awards. Our top gun this year, I'm going to design the course next year. The course was good this year, don't have a problem with it, but I'm going to design the course of fire. It's going to be a little different. You know, I hired a guy that's got a Ranger tab just to make sure the Army guy won Top Gun. Unfortunately, he was beaten by a Marine again. So, Sergeant Jonathan Pilgrim, if you would come up. Lieutenant, I'm sorry. Yeah. All in one swoop.
That's the third year in a row.
Keep talking.
Over here, Joe. Oh, hey.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The next award is Administrative Employee of the Year. These awards are selected by the leadership in that area. The single employee of the year, or whatever, selected by everybody as a group. But this person is very deserving. Overcome a lot, has just done an excellent job. She does a lot to keep Judge Brownlow satisfied and keep him from, I think she tugs on him every once in a while to give him the handcuff count to make sure we don't run out of them, so we start giving people probation or whatever. But Lynn Carroll, our administrative employee, Next one is Uniform Patrol Officer of the Year. And this is guys, this is your Army guys, this is kind of the infantry of the police department. They're the face of the PD most of the time. Having said that, the toughest job still at Monroe Police Department is the person that works that front window. Never ever forget that. Whoever works that front window and makes that public, I've never seen somebody come in there singing zippity-doo-dah, zippity-doo. They always got some kind of problem. But this year, Officer McCullough also won the Uniform Patrol Officer of the Year. There's two more awards. The next to last award is the Employee of the Year. And again, I don't think anybody, and no matter what your profession is, I made a joke earlier about Jerome Hanson being Monroe's Dale Earnhardt. Well, kind of to me, he is. He always kind of drove Bobby Allison colors. I remember that Colbert looked just like the Monte Carlo, the color-wise, that Bobby Allison. Y'all don't even know Bobby Allison. Y'all think in data, you don't even know the Allisons. Ain't no more racing. But to have somebody recognize you, your peers to recognize you and say, this is the person we think's at sale for the organization this year. I mean, that's as good as it gets. Miss Nina Lee. You got it?
Yes, sir.
For this award, I asked the Etchison family to come up. Y'all come over here with Sister Chief Watson. This event was started really as a way to honor Lieutenant Michael Etchison, who lost his life while in the City of Monroe Police Department. And we do this based on an act of heroism. It can be a little different, but and there's been a lot of very deserving folks that's gotten this award. Mike Head was awarded later on for his actions on that very day. Lieutenant Helton, who lost his life in the Middle East as in the Air Force. So it's been some kind of change-ups of it. But this year, I'll read it. On June 20th, 2014, Officer James Green responded to 501 Pine Park Street. Officer Green was first on the scene and observed smoke coming from the residence. He checked the front door and noticed it was unlocked. He entered the smoke-filled residence and noticed flames in the downstairs bedroom. After he noticed there was no one in the bedroom, he continued to clear the rest of the residence to make sure no one was inside. Once he got upstairs, he located 4 children and 3 adults sleeping. He woke them up and escorted them out of a burning home to safety. As he was exiting, Monroe Fire arrived. What a great example. Where's Green? Did you not hear me read your name? Come on up. Well, I try, every time I give this award, I get a little emotional. I wished I didn't do that, but I do. So I'm gonna let the Michael's family award you that award. Anybody in the Atchison family want to say something? Michael wants to say something. Michael Jr. He gonna say something. I'm gonna relax and make sure you don't get tongue-tied like that.
On behalf of the Atchison family, I'd like to thank y'all and thank y'all for serving the community, and hope that y'all know that we love you and keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you. Also tonight we had Megan from Walden Tribune, and this is her first Michael Atchison Award tonight, so y'all speak to her and tell her to make some of the stuff I said, side note, about a person of interest being in jail, that's not for release, okay? If you would honor that for me, I appreciate it. Dimitri is here with his father. I need a drink of water before I try to do this. Andreas. Andreas. Is that okay for a Mill Village boy? Andreas? Andrew. Well, I wanted to say it. I wanted to be Greek. Kiki help me a little bit. Kaka Balashas. Is that close enough for a Mill Village boy? Dimitri has done a program for us. He's been doing some stuff with the fire that'll turn into a documentary, and he's done it. Started with the city of Monroe Fire, and he's done some work with the county and the EMS. You'll start seeing him around the police department. He'll be doing some stuff with y'all. And this is a program that Dimitri wanted to kind of give back. He's done some work for the United States government. He's done work for the University of Tennessee. He's a very, if you see some of the pictures he's taken, I mean, he does an excellent job with that. But, Mr. Councilman, you want to say anything? All right, go Dogs. Judge, I know you got something to say.
I just about always do. I'll tell you, we tried a case a year or two ago, and the defendant came down to the front, and she says, "I demand to see the officer that arrested me." I said, "What was the officer's name?" She says, "Brandon Temples." I'm looking around, look over here, I said, "Officer standing here, about so tall, standing right across the aisle, about 2 foot right." I said, "What is your name?" She says, "Brandon Temples." There you have it. She was so intoxicated when you gave her the ticket, she didn't recognize him. I've never seen him before in her life. We've had some exciting times in court. This just to be here, hear all these names is really pleasing to me. Y'all just don't know. I was talking to some of these folks over here about how fast time goes. They're so young, I could tell it was just going right over their head. They don't really understand it yet. The further down this line you get, the faster the days keep coming off. Years just follow years, one after the other. Pretty soon you have 25, 30-year anniversaries, and time moves along. We have got what I would guess, Chief, would be, and I've known a lot of police officers in 50 years, lots and lots of different departments I've worked with and seen officers come in and out of. I believe we've got the finest set of officers in this police department, of any department that I know of. Do the best job, make the best court appearances. Somebody called me from the police academy, and when we come talk to the younger officers. And I was thinking about all of our officers and the presentations that they make in court. I don't know who had talked to them, but whoever it was did a good job, because y'all do a good job. It's a dangerous job, and we love you and we appreciate you. And I just want to give a hand to all of our officers.
You see a lot of stuff in the news, and it talks about our country, and sometimes you wonder about maybe our country, and that's what's always made our country the greatest country it is. You know, anytime we have trials and tribulations, we make it through it. Right now, it's a very tough time for the country. We're in a pivotal point with the things that's going on in the world. So always, and I don't know if you ever do or don't, but I always do. If I take time to say a prayer, I always say a prayer for the folks that are leading our nation. I say a prayer for our president, the vice president, the Congress, the senators. They have an awesome responsibility, and I promise you, they need some intervention. Just as we do trying to run a 42-person police department. So with that, we're going to take off, and I'm going to try to stand back out of the way. And I've been told that is that going to work, Paul? Paul Mullins is the Action 5, Channel 16. He does that. Will that thing work far enough away, or am I okay, loud enough? Okay. I would start with forcible rape first.
I'm showing it to you, I think you have both of them stop.
Well, you need to unbump it. I don't want to start there, but we'll get there. Killicott never did do that to me. He asked me, Steve Conwell asked me one time, said, "What's that mean?" I said, "I don't know, but it sounds good, doesn't it?" So we've kind of had that for a long, long time. Okay, calls for service this year are up by about 3,000, a little over 3,000. I think that's probably across our county, probably the same thing with the sheriff's office and the other agencies. Our call volume is pretty high. Our population is roughly 15,000. When you do the math on it, that means we answer about 3.56, 3.7 calls per citizen. Think about that a second. You do the numbers on the rest of the agents, they're running a little less than 2 or right at 2. Violent crimes are up. 91 versus 74 last year. Property crimes are up by almost 200. And that's theft, that's everything from breaking and entering autos, that's shoplifting at Walmart, that's just general theft. Homicides, we've had 2 this year. 1, aggravated assaults are up minorly. And aggravated assaults where somebody uses a weapon in an assault on a person. You know, that's just not me and the city attorney fighting over what ought to be right and what ought to be wrong and slapping one another. That's somebody's got a knife, stick, gun, something can do grave bodily harm to you. Robbery, way up by, well, I say way up, it's up by 9. Robbery, I'd like to see none, but unfortunately we have folks that, and robbery is not breaking in the house stealing, okay? Robbery is, Steve Conwell hits me upside the head and takes something from me, okay, or uses a gun or a weapon to forcefully take something from me. Burglary. We were actually about 6 or 7 or 8% below last year in December. We had a rash of burglary in December. And that jumped us up in December, so we had a rash of it. Arrests have been made. Most of these, we had an incident the other day, a guy breaks in the house and we do a real good job. They find out who it is, recover the stuff. The very next night, guy gets broke into again. Well, he runs from out of the house with a firearm. It's been pretty calm over there since that incident. I hope it stays that way, you know. Hope it stays that way. Forcible rape. The rapes we've had this year, there's been one actual forced rape. The other four are statutory rape where it's been an adult with an underage person. We have a lot, we have more than our share of child abuse or child molestations and that type of incident within our city. Larceny, again, is theft. Motor vehicle theft, we had 7 more this year than last year. A lot of those have been recovered and returned. Arsons, we got 2 suspected arsons this year, or reported arsons. That's where somebody set somebody's house on fire. Family and children incidents, this is a good number, drops by not quite 30. But anytime that number's going down, we happy to see that. Car accidents are up by almost 100, and most of them are right out here. So when you leave here tonight, be careful. You don't go the back way. This is a very heavily traveled area. I was telling Mr. Richardson, we was having a conversation tonight, and I said, the City of Monroe Police Department probably hadn't worked Georgia football traffic since the 60s, when you had to come right through the middle of town to go to Sanford Stadium. Well, this year we had to work football traffic. DOT, as my understanding, is going to do some work this summer, so hopefully we won't have to do that next fall. Our arrests are up by about 144. 1,565. That means we've locked up over 10% of our population. That's a statement. Not a good statement, but it's a statement. Drug arrests are up by 22. Drug-related arrests are up by 5. Good old Judge Brownlow saw 4,510 people this year. I had that many cases, him and Lynn, and we constantly having to buy new handcuffs, and we buy them now in colors like pink and yellow and chartreuse, and we won't nobody keep them. But they've been busy. Seized assets. Mr. Richardson, I always use this as a requirement of state law, that where I tell you, or the council and the governing body, how much money, but I will send this also to the county. Shows how much money we've seized this year, how much money we've spent. Local condemned seized was 21,753. Condemned during that year was only 3,700. Federal assets that we got this year was 39,907. 2 different pots of money, okay? Total for 43,000, and then we got the 2,100 balance that's pending, 65,000. In the federal, we've received 65,000 this year, and we have another 91,000 pending. Seized assets. So if you have if the House Bill 1, which it'll be a different bill this year, House Bill 1 is just always the first bill that comes out of the House of Representatives at the state every year, so it'll be something else this year. It won't be House Bill 1, it doesn't have the priority. It may come back up, but it talks about seized assets. Well, as the City of Monroe, the only number that you need to look at is over here, is that our police department was able to use $62,000 that didn't come out of our budget. That didn't come out of taxpayers' dollars. It comes from folks that's doing things they shouldn't be doing. You'll hear things about, oh, they just take people's money. There's a process. Anybody that has it's a civil action, and anybody that has money seized from them, there's a process that they can object to it. And it's done in front of a Superior Court judge. It's not, me and Killer can't go out here and stop a car. Bubba's got $50,000 and he says, I don't know who that money is. That still don't mean that money's automatically the city of Monroe's, okay? There's a process that it's gonna go through to make sure it's done the way it should be. But that helps us. You know, equipment issued $35,000, and some of that went into equipping vehicles that we got through splash money. So you know, training, we used almost $5,000. The fees on it of getting the money is $3,400. We spent some money on communications, investigative supplies, $17,500, and you know, PPI money is there too. PPI money is money that we use to buy drugs or to buy stolen property, or we use in our investigations. Training, we conducted, you know, and this is right now, it's going too fast, you know. Right now, I'm real proud of this. We conducted 2 10-hour active shooter trainings, and then we had Walton County's SRO, Social Circle Police, EMS, Fire Department, Walton County Board staff attended. We also had, you left something off I told you to put on there.
Yes, sir.
That's that Sergeant Major coming out. See, the chief ain't that smart, that Sergeant Major is.
We had officers come up from Tifton PD. We had one Savannah Chatham PD officer there. We had 2 people from the state EMA, and we had somebody from South Georgia EMA come up to take the training.
You know, this is important. Let me tell you, the only way that anybody can guarantee you that your child's safe in a school in the United States is they virtually made that school a prison. Because if somebody walks to the front door of Monroe Area High School tomorrow and they load it to the teeth and they don't get picked up on cameras coming in and they're not engaged by SRO at that front door, it's going to be a problem. You know, by the time you get there, but we have to always train and try to prepare ourselves for the unthinkable. You know, and you know, be ready for it, but we pray it never happens. So I'm real proud of that. And this is something that I'm proud of, you know, for the city council, is the only overtime required for in-service training this year was the active shooter. We went to a program 2 years ago. 2 years ago, where we have a training week. That's where every officer will cycle through that training week and come in, they'll do their 40 hours of training. Somebody that we was talking about, Ken Vance, a while ago, that's a great thing, because at the end of the year, I know everybody's got 20 hours more training than is required. I know that everybody's got use of force. I know that everybody's qualified on their firearm. I don't have to worry about that at the end of the year, because we've got a 40-hour block that we exceed the standard. Admin also handled 95 open record requests. Open record requests are almost like somebody's, it'd be about anything, okay? Sometimes you'll look at them and say, well, we finna get sued because somebody's asked, but no, it's usually just normal, everyday practice. Most of them have to do with court cases. Some of them are checking to see, you know, if Officer McCullough, who wrote, I think, 3 DUI tickets this year, they want to look at his training, and they want to see, you know, what his experience are in the DUI world, or how good he is at what he does. Community, this is something that, and Paul and I and Lieutenant Hanson done a video, so watch us on Channel 16, we're going to talk about trash. 3.54 tons. A ton is 2,000 pounds. That's an unreal amount of trash that we pick up using sometimes runarounds that we get from a sheriff's office, and most time it's people doing community service. But that's how much trash. One time from the Methodist Church out to the city limit sign of Alcovey Road, they picked up over 300 pounds in one walk. Now you think, now that's trash. I'm talking about cups, and you have to pick up a lot of potato chip sacks and hamburger wrappers and Coca-Cola cups to pick up 300 pounds. This is another thing that at some time, maybe probably not before I retire, but at some time, Monroe Police Department will have somebody that they do nothing but IT and probably run a social media program. We get a lot of information off social media also. But right now we have a little over 2,200 followers. Last year we had less than 1,000. So that picks it up, and we put a lot. You'd be surprised. What was the last, we put something, where somebody's calling saying you got a warrant, and what, I want to think it's like 8,000, that thing got around to 8,000 people. That's over half the population of the city of Monroe. So, I mean, and it could go anywhere, you know, but that's just, I'm just impressed with that. We broke our special weapons and tactics crowd down. We got two teams, a CRT and a RRT. Basically, they work together. Lieutenant McClung kind of heads that guy up, and this is something that's all volunteer guys, and they have to do extra training every year. But they the ones that do your, if we have high risk entry on some kind of arrest warrant, or if it's a drug warrant that we're doing, you know, we use them. We were able through a federal grant this year to obtain 8 new sets of body armor, and that body armor is upgraded. It's not the normal. It's an entry, or what's the title of it?
It's an entry vest.
It's an entry vest. It'll take more blunt force than a level 3 or level 2 that we do. They executed 11 high-risk warrants, responded to 3 emergency assist calls from patrol, and picked up 3 new team members. And the biggest thing, let's say 46,000 calls for service. That keeps you busy. But our uniform patrol, instead of just responding to those calls or initiating some of those calls, they also have to be proactive in the areas that they're assigned to. And being proactive doesn't mean necessarily writing 500 tickets. It's knowing your community. It's knowing the people in the neighborhood. You can't, and I guess I'll turn to this crowd and say this, you can't put a value on what having a relationship with your community is like. Okay? They tell you stuff that you wouldn't find out if you didn't have a relationship with them. And also afford you the opportunity to make a real difference in some people's lives. So that relationship's invaluable. Never ever forget that. Performed 13,400 building checks, area checks. Assisted CID with warrants and takedowns. We helped them with some by-bus type scenarios, that kind of thing. They do a good job. Right here, a lot's been said about body cameras. Our agency was about 24 months ahead of this power curve. And quite frankly, when I was making a decision that we need to do this, we was having to squeeze, it hit the budget. It may have hurt it. I hadn't seen the final number. We may have a problem. I may have to talk to Mr. Richards and say, oh, you're going to have to take some money out of water, light, and gas and help me or something. But I think we done good. And the decision it's not a trust issue. You wouldn't be here if I didn't trust you. If I didn't think I could trust my kid to you. Not a trust issue. It's a protection issue. It protects the people that we serve. It protects our mayor and our council, our entity. from lawsuit. It protects you. It protects you. So that's the value of it. It also collects some pretty horrible things. If you watch some of the body cam photos of officers being shot, saw one the other day. Officer goes to domestic. The guy comes outside and they're talking, and I've seen the whole video. Bubba's got a .22 pistol in his pocket full of fun. What's that old song? Russell, I know you know. Got a .22 pistol. 32. Saturday Night Special, I think the name of that song by Leonard Skinner or somebody like that. Russell used to kind of do that. I never did do that. I always listened to that gospel music on Sunday. I didn't get into Led Zeppelin and all them cats. But anyway, and they're outside, and the officer is going to check him for weapons. At that time, the guy pulls a gun, shoots him almost point blank in the face. You got a hell of a job, and you do it well. I'm proud of you. But the Axiom cameras, I'm real proud we got it in place on all your phones. It's expensive. Now, I don't and will not, in my little role as a president of Chiefs Association, when it comes up at the Capitol where they're talking about mandating you wear it, no. It shouldn't be mandated that an agency has to have it. If you're going to mandate it, you need to give us a way to pay for it, because it's not cheap. You know, the camera system itself is, but the cloud. I want to go see one of these clouds one day. You know, it's in the cloud. Well, which cloud? There's a bunch of, but I want to see that one day. But it is, but that's something that I'll probably get to voice an opinion on real soon. But you know, I won't say that, no, you need to mandate it. I don't agree with mandating it. Criminal investigations. We've been involved with GBI ICAC, participated in one of their operations for 3 days long. It picked up 14 child predators. That's on the internet where Bubba Epps are trying to find some child to molest or abuse. Implemented a search warrant class, and I guess Captain Treadwell taught that. Did you spell it right? And everybody tracking on it? And, solved a rash of burglaries at 15 juveniles. That's probably about the same time we went from being about 6% under last year to being about 10% over last year. But we got away. We're tracking burglary offenders now. Solved the Ken homicide. Solved the hijacking of a. This was a wild case. I mean, this guy's at a friend's house, and one of them asked him, or so-called friend, one of them asked him, said, "I need you to take my cousin home." "I ain't taking your cousin home." Next thing you know, he got a gun in his face. Said, "Oh yeah, you're gonna take my cousin home." So be wary of who your friends are. Is anybody in here ride folks around in the cart that don't know what their real name is? Not the street name? You know, I didn't know his street name. I said, he got a real name, and why you got him in your car? But Phil investigated folks. Took off about $5,000 worth of marijuana this year, $1,200 worth of cocaine, crack, $2,000 of meth, pills, $3,000, about $1,100. Arrested 59 people, 93 felony warrants, 11 search warrants. They're also, through their initiatives, are involved in a federal investigation that from time to time you'll see us throw a few names out, and you'll still see some more names and more names. At the end of the day, that's going to involve about 80 people.
We got two going on. One in the middle district, one in the northern district.
We're blessed. We belong to the southern district of the southern.
The middle district.
If something happens to you, yeah, the middle. something happens to you federally, you're gonna have to go to Macon, Georgia, if you live in Monroe. But we're also working another case that I don't want to talk a whole lot about, but it involves some activity, and we're tracing some stuff back, or we're involved in that with a couple of federal agencies, and that's going to be a good thing. It's going to help the city. Our biggest problem is keeping patience to let everything kind of fold out like it needs to. We bought four guns from gang members. One had been used in a homicide. Seized a couple of vehicles, peel ring, 200s indicted, 5 of them are career offenders. Money seized, $3,200. Again, we talk about this, the economic environment, because it's getting better. You can look at the tax digest and what we're bringing in on property taxes and sales taxes, and that appears better statewide and nationwide. Growth, we got and the growth we're getting right now appears to be real good growth. We have become real close to Atlanta, Georgia. Real close to Atlanta, Georgia. And when I was a little bitty boy, about that big, Atlanta was like forever away. It took forever to get to Atlanta. When Russell and I were teenagers, it was the right distance, perfect. You know, you get there and get back. As I've gotten long in the tooth and no hair, no curls, no blonde curls, it's way too close. Now, I've become real good friends with a guy named George Turner, who is the chief of the city of Atlanta. And as a matter of fact, we were in his home for Christmas, and he's just a great guy. And we talk about that a lot of times. We talk about the difference in a small city and a large city. And he said, well, we try to make a large city small, a bunch of small cities put together, and that's kind of what it is. But it's good to have that relationship. A little different picture than you normally see. We got a fire truck added in there. And I've had the blessing and the opportunity to get to work with the fire folks, and it's been a learning experience for me. I think it's paid off for the fire department. I think it's been good for them. I think it's been good for the city. But you know, when we think about it, they are our partners, just like EMS is our partners. You think about the times that you've been on the scene, and EMS, you know, you got to work somebody or whatever, and you know, it's all a combination of things.